Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Nick Wusz, good morning, and welcome to I Hate Music.
What a surprise. I mean, we were just chatting, and then he gets into like the announcer mode. And
yeah,
it's like, wow.
It's like my radio voice.
Yeah,
you
totally.
Know? Like, holy shit, Nick Wusz, what are you doing here?
Gene Hoglan did it. He had like a wrestling voice.
Dude,
almost.
What was up with that? That was so weird.
He was just like, he almost like a Macho Man Savage or something.
I
He's
know.
Like, what's up, brothers?
Yeah.
It was like really interesting.
It was really strange.
Yeah.
The dynamic last night was interesting because Max was like pretty shy, pretty reserved.
Totally.
Steve was almost like a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And like even during the sets, he was like whispering in Max's ear. And there's at one point he was like pointing to his wrist, like he was concerned about time or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hurry it up or something.
Yeah, but like in the middle of a song. So
yeah,
like,
it was weird. He was trying to distract Max as Max was singing. Like he was messing with him a little bit. It was
weird.
funny, yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked how he talked about Max as being this, fucking kid that was just like amazing, talented, lover of Chuck kind of thing. And
yeah.
And I think if it weren't for Max, we're talking about Death to All, obviously here. But if it weren't for Max, I think a lot it wouldn't have happened. He's so passionate about it.
I can't imagine Death to All working without Max Phelps.
No.
I mean, they would have to, they'd have to find somebody else, and I just don't see how that's possible.
I mean, this kid looks like him. He sounds like him. He plays like him. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
Really incredible.
So I just looked it up. He is 36.
Oh, okay. He's not that much of a kid. But so probably 14, 15 years younger than these guys. I mean, maybe 20 years, actually.
I was going to say maybe 20.
Yeah. They might be in their mid-50s.
Yeah.
So, 20 years younger. But he obviously grew up listening to Death. Never obviously met Chuck, I'm sure. No, couldn't have. 20. He would have been, maybe 15, 14.
14, 15.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, but probably not.
Probably not. No, even younger. He would have been younger.
I mean, I just can't imagine anyone else filling that role. I mean,
no.
Like, sure, someone can play guitar like that, but play like that, look like that, sing like that.
Yep.
And what I dig about it is people keep calling it a tribute band, and I really feel like that is a disservice to it. I think it's so much more than just a tribute band because it's the dudes, it's the members,
Yeah, right.
All these guys except for Max were in Death at some point. It's not like a cover band. It's not like... It is a tribute in like the purest sense of the word, but I think that has a bad connotation in this context, and I just don't think it's appropriate here. So don't fucking say it.
What would you like to have called it? Like, I mean, I
don't know. I mean, I guess that's why I keep just calling it Death, even though that's probably not fair.
No.
But I just think tribute has a bad connotation. So I guess just maybe an extension or something. I don't know.
I think, if Chuck was still alive, he'd have a hard time going back to the past. He was always somebody that was pushing forward,
Yeah, for sure.
Even when I saw him, look, I have the set list above me. I saw them in December 2nd, 1998 at Satyricon. And it was mostly all Sound of Perseverance stuff. He played Philosopher, and at the very end, he played Zombie Ritual. But he wasn't about like going back, really,
No.
So I wonder, like, if he had lived, if he would even, he probably wouldn't be doing something like this. Playing, pandering to the fans and wanting them to hear like leprosy and Scream Bloody Gore, especially because he moved so far beyond it. But who knows? But it's interesting because
I just think I think of a tribute band as being like Hell's Bells or
Iron Maidens.
The Iron Maidens, something like that. It's like, but when you've got like mostly members,
I don't know.
It seems to add legitimacy to it, for sure, with Hoagland and Steve Giorgio there.
For sure. These guys are all buddies, you know, with Chuck, and they're on the records. And so, yeah.
I've got my, right above me here, I've got my Death fan club card. And it says member Nick Wusz, and it says signed by Chuck. So I've got that.
Signed by Chuck? It
doesn't.
I think it is.
It is signed by Chuck. It's like a little business card. It's really awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's
That's
like
awesome.
one of my prized possessions for sure.
So you saw them in 98.
98. Only time I saw him.
And that was before Chuck died.
Can you believe it? Yeah, it's a Satyricon with like 50 people. Yeah.
Damn.
Hammerfall opened up. And
I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, and Thy Infernal. Wow.
Yeah. Which we, back then, it was every show Thy Infernal played.
Every show Thy Infernal used to play. Yeah.
But Hammerfall, that was a unique thing. Chuck was embracing, power metal at the time.
Well, definitely at that point in time, he was getting more and
did
more
the Control
into that.
Denied thing, which was, with that Tim guy from Pharaoh. And, so he was
embracing
that scene. Like, he was talking a lot about metal, keeping metal alive and all these things.
Yeah. I mean,
just like those guys were.
He did that Priest cover, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's on Sound of Perseverance. And I believe they're going to be playing that tonight if they play the whole album. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, they should be.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
Can Max do that?
The scream?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Chuck really did it either. He just screamed his style with a little higher pitch or whatever. But
yeah. Still, though, it's a little bit out of... I was surprised to hear Chuck do it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was Chuck. I mean,
and even at the time, it was like, isn't that too soon to cover a song? Because Painkiller wasn't that long ago before that, Painkiller was like 90, 91 or something. But
it was, something like that.
It was like kind of a newer Priest song. It was interesting for them to choose to do that.
Yeah, I thought that was strange.
But it fits well in hindsight. It's a great song.
Well, now it's older.
Now it's really old,
yeah. So
we saw Death Doll last night.
We saw Death Doll last night, yeah. Yeah, the Death Tribute Band.
Yeah,
and and we're seeing them again tonight too. Last night was Scream Bloody Gore.
Yep, with a smattering of others. Where they played Leprosy, Spiritual Healing, a couple others off Spiritual Healing as well.
Yep. And then tonight will be Sound of Perseverance and some smatterings of, what I understand is human individual thought patterns.
Symbolic. Yep.
Symbolic. Yep.
So I'm really excited about tonight. You told me that they sold out tonight, but not last night. That's interesting. So more people are into the newer stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I think last night sold out day of show is what I was told.
Okay, nice.
But tonight sold out a long time ago. So I guess people are more into human and post, which I think doesn't really surprise me. It's interesting, but it doesn't surprise me.
I mean, Chuck has become a guitar god, and I don't think people consider that earlier stuff his shining moments or whatever.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think it's all about human and beyond for most people.
Yeah, I think so too.
For me, it's just like two totally different bands in so many ways.
It's really interesting. That's kind of what I was talking about, I guess, with him looking to the future. He was just pushing, and he wasn't. He'd evolved so much in 10 years from Scream Bloody Gore to human. It's just incredible.
It's a quantum leap, as they would say.
But it's also actually pretty linear too. When you listen to Leprosy, and then Spiritual Healing got a little more proggy. It was a big jump, I think, from spiritual to human. But there was a progression that you can kind of feel and sense. But
oh, for sure.
And it was a lot of it had to do with the players, right? When he found Paul, when he found those guys from Cynic, it's like that really pushed him to the next level.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, Jesus, when you got those Cynic guys with you, I mean,
Jesus Christ,
you can do anything.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny when they were introducing Max. They said, Max, and he's got the other project Exist and blah, blah, but they didn't mention he's like in fucking Cynic.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like,
what about
Christ?
Has Paul been a part of any of these shows? I think he did a guest, right?
Well, he helped start it. He was in the original incarnation, which I didn't realize until recently. He mentioned it to me.
Oh, so he was instead of Bobby Coble or whatever, he was playing guitar? Nice, nice.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know the whole story, but my understanding is that he started it with Gene.
Okay.
Or at least he was there in the beginning, and then he's sat in on some things. Like when they do human things, he'll sit in. There's some videos on YouTube.
Nice.
Where he sat in a couple times.
Nice.
That's
actually cool. That would have been cool to see, I'm sure.
Totally.
With them live.
I saw recently Paul has been posting some videos from the Human tour too.
Oh wow!
Which is really cool to see because Paul's hair was so fucking long back then.
Yeah, he was a beautiful man.
Yeah, just like swinging it all around and jumping around all over the stage. And
he was active on stage like that?
Yeah. It's
cool.
so different from like the Paul you see with Cynic now. You know, he's very reserved and,
Well, maybe he felt free not having to sing like that too,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was thinking about the relationship between Steve and Gene. They've followed each other, for a long time now.
Oh, yeah.
They've been, I mean, they were obviously in symbolic and individual thought patterns as well, I think. But in Testament, too, like in later days.
Oh, yeah, Testament. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that they've... he joked about that a little bit. Steve said, mentioned his brother back there, Gene, and he was so much older than Gene or whatever.
Yeah. It's actually 2 months. Yeah.
That was great. He's kind of a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. Steve was playing a 3-string bass.
Whoa, dude. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it was gorgeous. I was like, what? That's really cool.
And the spacing on it is extreme, too, dude. It's like an inch in between the strings. Like, how he covers that fretboard, I don't know, dude.
He's just like, I don't understand. I was watching his hands so much yesterday.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times he's playing, and then he'll stop with his right hand and he'll just fret notes for a second.
I saw
and
that,
point at people, and then he'll go back to playing. And then other times,
but you still hear the notes, right? That's like, not like it goes away.
He's hitting it.
Yeah.
Yep. And other times, like what I would just like pluck or something, he's like hitting it with his hand, like a downstroke, like with the tops of his fingers or his fingernails.
Yeah.
And he's like playing like that too. It's like Les Claypool type shit almost.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
insane.
He
must have the setting set properly on the amp and stuff that he's hardly has to touch it almost to get that sound because he's so fluid on the fretboard that
and his hands have got to be just so strong too.
Yeah, by now.
Yeah,
maybe we can meet him tonight and like test his finger strength or something.
We could thumb wrestle him.
Or take him to like the climbing wall. Like maybe there's one down the road we can take him to and just see if he can hang with one finger. I bet he could, dude.
Let's do it.
Strong guy.
Or that could be a different episode, like rock climbing with DiGiorgio.
Rock climbing.
Rock climbing.
Dude, that sounds like a 90s VHS a series. Rock climbing with rock gods or something.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
Anyway.
So anyway, that was great. Cryptopsy opened. We saw them recently too.
Yeah,
MDF.
we saw them up top at Baltimore. And so the viewpoint was different. We're on the ground now. But it was equally good. That vocalist just blows my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because those original Cryptopsy records are pretty intense vocally. Like, almost, I'm not going to say on par with Bethlehem or something, but just like extreme range of like growls and screams, growl, screams, growl, scream, really guttural, mid-pace, all this shit. And this guy does it, dude. And he's a young kid, too. Probably 30 something, but.
Yeah, he's another kid.
Yeah, how they found these guys, it's incredible.
Yeah. So Death to All last night and tonight we hit Living House Brewery first before the show.
Yep.
The place is great.
Yeah,
really enjoy their beers. Love the space. And then at the show we met up with our friend Robert from Missing Scenes. Mm-hmm. Good to see him as always.
I think we'll see him again tonight.
Yep. We're going to go and hit the newer brewery in Portland called Brewhose. It's Brujos, not Brew Hose, as some people seem to think.
That would be a different type, maybe an all lesbian or something.
Yeah, it'd be something. But it's Brujos. It's, I believe it is Spanish for like a male, like a warlock or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, their slogan is crafting liquid spells. It's a really cool space. Every time I'm in there, they're playing Emperor or Old Doom of Gear, I heard one time.
Wow, nice.
They have really good beers, high ABV for the most part, but like the artwork is amazing, their merch is amazing. They're really cool guys, black metal fans.
Nice. I'm excited to see the inside of that place.
Yeah, the inside, they call it the Scorched Church because the whole thing is like these old church pews that have actually been burnt.
Oh, shit.
And then they put like some kind of lacquer or something over the top of them, so it's not like you're sitting on burnt wood, but like parts of the pews are burnt.
Wow.
And they have their logo thing like emblazoned on the side of each pew, and it's intense,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, I'm excited to go. We'll see how I do with the high ABVs. Yesterday I had three lighter beers, and it felt pretty good. I didn't need more at the venue, but still a little hungover this morning. I just can't believe like how sensitive I am now. It sucks, dude. Really
from
sucks.
From three
beers.
Yeah, man.
It just took me a little while to wake up this morning.
Bodies are changing.
Yeah, it's messed up, bro.
It is. But yeah, we're going to do that. See Death Toll again. I assume Cryptopsy is going to play something different than they did last night. But
I bet they'll have their newer set as well because they played Blasphemy and Not So Vile stuff. So yeah.
Yep. But we're gathered here today to talk about Body Count.
We are.
Their first record, their debut record.
The debut Body Count record changed the world. And I'm trying to convince Jason that it changed the world.
You don't have to convince me that it changed the world. I think. Do
you recognize the importance of that album at the time? I suppose.
I do to a degree, but to be honest, I don't know. I'm not very familiar with it.
What was your exposure to that album? And I guess it came out. Let me see here, March 31st, 1992.
Yes. So it's one of those things. I imagine that I've heard this record at some point in time. And I've definitely heard a couple of the hits. Cop Killer. There Goes the Neighborhood, like that type of stuff. And I imagine I must have heard it at some point, but it just wasn't anything on my radar. So I listened to it recently a couple times in its entirety. But I also did some research on like the history of it and like the impact and things like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll get into that after we get through some intro stuff here. But
okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. It was an important album. I don't know if it was because it was from Southern California or something, but
yeah. Well, I think that's the stuff we have to discuss, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's discuss that. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about that. I also wanted to talk about. I recently saw a show at the Fixin' 2 here in Portland. It was basically St. John's, actually, by Veronica Vaughn. And that is Chris Hackman from Thief. He is live bassist from Thief. It's his pop band, and they were fantastic. One of the best shows I've seen in a long time. I wanted to bring that up. Check it out on Spotify. They have a new record out.
Is it the album's good to listen to as well as
yes.
live? Okay.
Yeah,
the
album's great. I can't remember what the name of the album is, but they are on Spotify. 3-piece. I think they call it like dream pop or something like that. It's kind of shoegazy sort of.
Nice.
But yeah, really, really great stuff.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you went to that, and I'm sorry I missed it. You had invited me, but I don't know. It's hard. Yeah. I'm glad you went.
Yeah. Thursday night. Yep.
Yeah.
So as always, check out the Earth and Sound store, earthandsound.org. We still have a few Scum designs left.
Nice.
We actually sold a couple of Ramones designs in the last couple of weeks, so now we're down to not very many of those at all. We've also got Dolvin, Moonbladder, Traveler's Rest, my solo 7-inch, Self-Spiller, all sorts of crap up there.
Cool.
And as always, check out our playlist, which is updated for every episode. You can find that in our link tree, which is on our Facebook or our Instagram. And of course, please, please, please email us at hate.pod.music@gmail.com for corrections for Nick. Ideas, comments, questions. I love getting the emails. Every single one of them I love. And I respond to each one. And I'm usually pretty nice.
You're a nice guy.
Yeah. I did want to do something quick that's kind of indulgent on my part, but
okay, no problem.
A little bit ago, I released the debut Moonbladder EP, which I'm really happy with. It's on Crucial Blast.
Kick-ass cassette, bro.
Yeah, on cassette only. It was kind of the culmination of a few years of playing live and culling down the set from there and just kind of like working out my 30-minute set. And I got the new issue of Decibel, and there's a review of it in the new Decibel, which
nice.
Was a nice surprise.
Yeah. Are you going to read it?
Yeah, I'm going to read it real quick because
that'd be great, dude.
I feel like sales of this tape have been slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, that happens.
And maybe people think it's going to suck. And according to Decibel, it definitely does not suck.
According to Nick, it doesn't suck either. And I'm not a noise guy. I really enjoy it.
You're not a noise guy at all.
Yeah.
So you know how the reviews are like, 1 through 10, whatever. And I'm looking here, and it's like Orange Goblin is next to Moonbladder, got an 8.
Nice.
Sarke, whatever that, got an 8. Mine just has a little spaceship. Not even a rating.
No number.
It's just a little spaceship.
That's really special, dude.
Yeah. So
it might be the first time they've ever done that.
I feel honored by that. Yeah. So, okay, I'm just going to read this review real quick.
That's cool.
It says, "Layers, motherfucker. In last year's cover story about the return of Agalok, we gushed. Oh man, the lighting is so bad here. We gushed about Jason Walton's omnivorous mind and creative drive. But that was a rave piece. This is the cold, hard review section where the unforgiving light of reality leaves no room for fan-blinded sentimentality.
Nice.
What's the straight dope on Walton's actual recorded output? Verdict, we stand by every goddamn word.
Nice.
You might disagree. That's fair. These 20... Fucking A. I apologize. I cannot read this.
You need your readers, bro. I mean, we're at that point. You're almost 50.
That's true. I'm going to be 50 in January.
Embrace it, man. I'm wearing mine.
Man.
It's embarrassing as fuck.
Well, no, I have... It's partially the light.
No, dude, it's not the light. For a long time, for years, like 2 years, I was wearing lights everywhere. And then I realized it was actually that I needed readers. It wasn't the light.
Well,
but sometimes it is the light, sure.
But yeah, I mean, I know that sounds like an excuse, but it's mostly my contacts. My contacts now make it harder for me to read stuff close up, and especially if the light is crap. But I agree with you, yes, readers, but also it's my contacts that are fucking me up. So I'm going to move over here real quick and see if
get a big light on that thing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you might disagree, that's fair. These 20-plus minutes primarily concern themselves with manipulated noise and industrial ambience. Dark Sky Equilibrium is for Agalloch fans in the same way that Dark Sky Burial... Oh, interesting. Dark Sky Burial is for Napalm Death fans, which is to say that they have nothing in common except that the bassist has indulged his own compositional and improvisational instincts to make moody, amorphous sound sculptures. I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, that's an interesting connection. Really cool.
Shane, the bassist of Napalm,
Yep.
and me doing something called Dark Sky.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
You copied him, or he copied you, dude.
Well, I mean,
Didn't even realize.
he's got like 4 records out, so I guess I copied him.
Oh no, not intentionally.
This Moonbladder piece is the result of experiments and embellishments in a live setting. A complete list of instruments is available elsewhere. We don't have the space here, and you wouldn't be able to pick them out anyway. Beginning like a cyborg sung siren song descending from the starry Roswell sky, quickly accompanied by wind chimes and stalked by hooded, reverbed whispers, the strata of rumbling, throbbing waveforms build on each other fairly quickly for the first 5 minutes before the circuit breaks and everything descends into a vaporous chasm of quiet corrosions. Something hungry lurks down there in the deep, though it takes some time before the vocal chant-led onslaught rises up to feed, culminating in a jittery, roaring cacophony. If you're looking for sonic touch points, think of a highlight reel of ambiguous Lynchian murders, or a streamlined version of the third Phantomos record, Delirium Cordia. But really, Dark Sky Equilibrium is the unique vision of a man drawing from his own decades of experience.
Dude.
Yeah, I was stoked on that.
That's fucking awesome. And that guy writes very well. Those are
Yes.
awesome words to use.
Well, that's Daniel Lake, the author of the USBM book, wrote that.
Perfect, yeah.
Thank you,
obviously.
Decibel. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you,
That
Daniel.
is available on the Earth and Sound website. It is available on the Crucial Blast Bandcamp. Yeah, buy it. It's limited. It will never be repressed. So
Yeah, support it. It's great.
support it. Yep.
Use that vintage Walkman you got in your closet.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, use a vintage Walkman. So now I'm going to crack open a nice tapache. Is that how you pronounce that? Do you know about
I don't
these
know.
things?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's like a fermented, non-alcoholic, but it's like a fermented kombucha type of deal. Tapache?
Cheers, bro.
Cheers. Do a little camera. Cheers.
Yep. Got my water here.
Before we dive into iced tea,
Yep.
let's dive into a couple listener emails.
I'd like that.
Are you ready for this shit?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you remember the guitarist from Merciful Fate that keeps writing us?
Demer.
Yes, Michael Demers.
Michael Demers.
Yep. He says, "Hey fellas, congratulations on your grueling ascent of Mount Deathfest. Enjoyed
I like that.
Yeah, enjoyed the breakdown. I was contemplating making the 8-hour drive south just to see Primordial, who I'm a huge fan of, but couldn't pull the trigger when the time came. Hoping they return to the U.S. at some point and hit the Northeast."
Yeah, they are great live.
Oh man, Alan is just like the best frontman.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, you were discussing favorite bands from Australia. I highly recommend the band Consummation. They're my favorite Aussie band, black and death metal that features John Gossard of Weakling Asunder to Spirit on guest guitars. Interesting.
Oh, shit. Wow, that's weird.
Yeah. And he says, "Jason, I also saw Great White and Whitesnake on that tour, 1998, I believe. It was my second show ever. They played an outdoor stage, and it had poured rain for hours before the show. The guitarist for Great White came running out on stage for the first song, full of rock star swagger, only to slip and fall on his ass. Hilarious."
Amazing. Wow. Good memory, dude. Like, that shit would be on YouTube now, you know?
Oh, for sure. Like the footage
look at this rock guy falling down.
The footage of Abbott, like, eating shit as he's running toward the stage. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's pretty good. He's, like, on the side of the stage, like, in the grass, and he's like running down, and he slips and he like eats shit, and he's like rolling over his guitar, and
oh damn, that's sad.
But I
can't help but laugh.
Yeah, my buddy Dahl from Israel was right there and like helps him up on his feet and stuff.
Well, I hope he's okay. I mean, I know how fragile our bodies are becoming. So,
well, this was years ago, and we just saw him at MDF, so he must be doing okay.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Then Michael says, "Lastly, I have a request. Could you guys post links to each of your various musical projects that you discuss? Would make it easier to track this shit down." Mike, no, there's no fucking way I can do that. I mean,
hell no.
I mean, that's a great idea and all, but like, I can't.
Why make it easy for people?
Well, I can't I don't know what I'm going to talk about, and I don't know what I talked about, and I can't take the time to do that. I mean, that is a great idea, but that's just.
You have like 5, 7 projects. Is that what he's talking about? Your personal projects?
No. I think he's talking about each project that we discuss on the podcast.
What's that mean, project?
Meaning, like, if you bring up like a record from Primordial, that we link it.
Oh no, I don't think that's what he's saying.
You think he's talking about like our stuff?
Well, that makes more sense. Obviously, we're not going to be able to link to every band that we talk about.
Could you guys post links to each of your various? Oh,
yeah, I think he's talking about you're doing your new brother thing. I don't know. Okay. Maybe he can find all of that at Earth and Sound, but maybe it is difficult.
No, I think you're right. I think I misunderstood. I'm sorry, Michael. Yeah, I'm probably still not going to do that, but you can go to Earth and Sound to find that stuff. Google works great for that stuff. Bandcamp, I have a Bandcamp. There's a Dolvin Bandcamp.
Yes.
You can Google our names.
Yes.
The I Hate Music Linktree has a link to the Earth and Sound web store. Yeah, you can figure it out. You got this. I believe in you. So then I wrote him back, and I just told him, like, hey, like, thanks, we'll reply on air. And then he wrote back again, and he said, I gotta say, I also love when your true disdain comes out for certain things, like Poon Tickler.
That was a funny band name. Oh, I ended up looking them up. It was some kind of grind band. Maybe I told you this on the last episode, but
yeah, I think we discussed it.
I think we talked about that.
I mean, it kind of has to be a grind band with that name, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It would be funny if it was like super pop. Maybe like your that gig you went to the other day, the Dream Pop or whatever.
Yeah.
Poon Tickler, dude. That'd be funny.
Oh, you mean like if the music was like that?
No, if the band, the Veronique band was actually had the music of Veronique, but was called Poon Tickler.
Right. Yeah. Veronica Vaughn, not
Veronica Vaughn.
Yeah, Veronica Vaun. But had the music. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Like the porn folk band that I want to start.
Oh, dude, you got Jeremy Wagner behind you? He changed his background to Jeremy Wagner.
Yeah, it's just for you. Look at that.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about this too, but in MDF, I was obsessed with Broken Hope for a little while there.
You watched the entire documentary in our hotel room.
Pretty low budget action, but it was fun to watch. Yeah.
So last night, Robert brought up the fact that we have a drinking game, and I just didn't really even think about it that way, but he said that every time we mention Guar or Kyle, it's kind of like a drinking game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you guys were talking about this. I had my earplugs in. So
Yeah.
I didn't really hear anything you were talking about.
Yeah, he was asking me about the pod, and he's
damn.
about the drinking game and stuff. And
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize we had one. That's cool, though. I like that.
Yeah, so...
So you just said guar, so here comes one.
Yeah. You're drinking water out of a mason jar?
Yeah, big-ass mason jar.
I like it.
Yeah.
You sure it's not vodka?
Eco groovy, bro. No, it's not vodka.
Yeah.
I have vices and shit, but none of it is alcohol.
They're Hefeweißes.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's all right.
that one hasn't been taken. Like, there's so many beer names that have puns in them.
Oh,
so
dude, yeah.
I don't think that one's been taken.
Hefeweißes. Yeah.
It's like a really strong Hefeweizen maybe or something.
Yeah, it's maybe with a cigarette butt in it.
It's like a gummy worm or something, but it looks like a...
Yeah.
But that'd be awesome.
Okay, so if you are playing our drinking game, which y'all should be, get ready to take another sip. This is from our good friend Kyle. I believe he pronounces his name Heider? I can't remember. Anyway, this is from Kyle. This one is really cool. I'm excited about this one. He says, and again, like more emails like this, please, where you're like sending me links of stuff to hear, shit like that. Love it.
Yep.
He says, "Hey, Nick and Jason, long time no Kyles."
It had been a couple episodes, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. 2.5 questions. Interesting. What do you think of tribute bands that include original members like Death to All?
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
That's so weird.
Wow.
Max Phelps embodies Chuck perfectly for me in DTA, but I wonder how you guys feel about it.
I think it would never have happened without Max, so I really appreciate that kid. 36-year-old kid.
Yeah. I mean, rewind the episode, Kyle. Like, beginning of the episode, we go on about it for fucking ever. Yeah, we love that shit.
I hope you didn't miss it.
Yeah.
If you did, go back and we answered your question like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, be kind, rewind. But yeah, fantastic stuff. That's some weird kismet. He just asked us about that.
And you didn't... Yeah, maybe you subconscious... No, we just went right into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, what are your thoughts on bands of Theseus? AKA bands that have no original members but continue to play the original band's music. Does it make a difference if they decide to tour as a legacy act or continue to make new music under the same name? I think we covered that a little bit in our first episode back together, the reunion stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, technically,
give me an
Napalm
example.
has no original
I see.
members.
Yeah, that's true.
Opeth has no original members. I mean,
I suppose.
At what point does it matter? I mean, there's a lot of gray areas for me there. I mean, like Shane is such an OG with Napalm that I have a hard time being like, oh, he's the new guy.
Yeah, fuck that.
Or
That's
he's not.
dumb,
He's not an original. You know.
Same thing with Opeth. It's like they weren't popular before Mikhail came. So
yeah. I don't know, man. It just I consider that on a case-to-case basis.
I can't think of a real good example of like all new members. Maybe they'd all died. Maybe Kraftwerk is doing something like this, but it's just 4 dudes on laptops with a really awesome stage show. So, I mean, do you need the original members to do that? I don't really think so. And it's awesome to see.
What about Tangerine Dream? Isn't that the same thing?
I don't know.
No originals, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And it's probably the same thing. They're on laptops or on a keyboard that, doesn't... It's more about the stage show, at that point.
Right.
Would I go see the Beatles holograms? I think I would, bro. It'd be pretty cool to see like them in their 62 era and then switch the costumes and then all of a sudden they're in 68, but it's all holograms. I'd pay whatever, $25 for that.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's just really case by case. Kind of depends. I don't know. It's an interesting question though. But Kyle, if you haven't heard the reunion episode we did, maybe visit that because we speak about that a little bit more on there.
Yeah.
And then he asks, what's your desert island death record? And
he
says, I'm happily waving the flag for symbolic. I think that's bold.
That's fine. Yeah, that's a little controversial. But
it's a bold claim, but yeah.
I mean, they're all fucking 10 out of 10, so it's hard to say. I would say Human, though. That's just so...
Yep, me too.
Important to my life.
That one's
really changed everything. Jesus Christ. I think Blessed Are the Sick and Human are just like, what the fuck's going on here?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Human, though, it's if I had to like send a death metal record into space,
Yeah.
for like aliens to hear,
Preservation of like the future.
yeah, like
That's what music on Earth sounded like.
it'd be human. For me, that's like the most perfect document of death metal. I think.
I mean, the production, the album cover, everything is just like it ties in really well together.
Yep.
I mean, they got away from like the Ed Repka kind of art,
Yep.
cartoony art and stuff like that, and like that was bold. Obviously, he was trying to make a change with that.
Oh yeah, and that
New
cover is
statement.
amazing.
Yeah, it is. I wonder what kind of art, or somebody did the original artwork is out there, or was it done just for the album? That would be interesting to know.
I don't know much about that record. I mean, that cover art.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wonder.
Okay, then he goes on and he says, this one's interesting. Also, if you could facilitate a meet and greet for the Kyles and Sebastian in Romania, we'd all really appreciate it. If you can't do that, maybe Nick can send us tape decks with his 80s project already loaded.
Preloaded. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, we could do that. I have some Walkmans I can send out to you guys. And
Send it to the
and then
Kyles and to
and then we could
Sebastian.
synchronize like a listening party or something. That'd be amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Retro listening party. Okay, everybody at 7:35 Eastern time, we're gonna listen to. We did that on Bandcamp. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, and now he keeps going on, but this is really cool, so I want to include it. He said that he wants to talk about, for a second, some cool stuff from Pittsburgh, which I guess I remember he is from. His favorite avant-garde noise artist that also does hip-hop, metal, etc. His name is Brian, also known as Sykes, and has been grinding for years on it. I want to play just like a snippet of one of these songs. I guess I followed this guy on Instagram, I believe, and yeah, he seems like he's kind of like metal, hip-hop, kind of electronic guy, like all over the place. But here, let me remember how to share so you can, here we go, so you can hear it as well.
Awesome.
Can you see that?
Yep. Oh, cool. It worked.
Check. Fresh crop, throw the veggies in the pot. Drop a little bit of hot sauce just to spice the pot. Non-stop on top, spot the record shop. Drop 100 on the front of what the hardest rocks they got. Adult, maybe. Still no whip, but my toy game's silly. Got a couple turtles I could trade it for a wheel or two of the whole lot and walk out with a BMW. I can't complain, open up the city paper when I see my name. That's whatever, keep my head out of space. Seems a little far-fetched, but I take it with grace. But try to keep the focus on myself, keep the ego at a level beneficial to my health. Cause I got some lazy peers too busy practicing the spells who don't make a lot of noise and it reflects upon the wealth. Take notes, how to get what I got.
How'd you get it? How'd you get it?
How to get what I got.
How'd you get it? How'd you get it?
How to get what I got.
How'd you get it? How'd you get it?
I did whatever I want, take notes. Take notes. Enter the coin, push the button. You gotta save the queen that they got locked up in the dungeon. So you step on who you gotta just to make it to your goal. But they don't tell you all that stuff that's gonna chip away your soul. That's a metaphor, figure it out. A little rabbit foam knowledge going out of my...
Yeah, there we go.
Wow. So it's like a horror kind of rap. It's very ICP adjacent, I would say. No offense.
Whoa!
Dude.
Oh my God! Wow.
I mean, that's their shit
Shots
too,
fired.
right? It's like,
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily a diss, dude. It's just like that's what it is, like horror rap or whatever.
Well, I think I see. I don't know enough about ICP to like really say.
I don't take it as like, I didn't mean it as like a diss. I really think they have a place in like music. Those fuckers, and they're insane clowns. But their music is like, there's the fans are so into it that I really admire that. I love that, like, they're fucking doubling down on that shit and they're going for it.
The passion,
with
for
passion.
sure, for
It's awesome, dude.
For sure.
I mean, I can relate to that.
For sure. Yeah,
So it's not necessarily a diss.
like when I think of horrorcore, I think of, like horror and Dalek, whatever you call it, clipping, stuff like that. Gravediggers. I just don't know much about ICP other than like the legend of them.
Yeah, right. Well, in my mind, what I've heard, it's like mid-pace like that, hard-hitting, like that.
Yeah.
And relatively straightforward beat-wise. I like the little jingle they did with the Mario Brothers thing or something. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. So, anyway, Kyle, thanks for sending that.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
love
dude.
just getting exposed. And then he also sent me this guy, too, that I also followed. Where is he?
I definitely wrote that down. Sykes and the New Violence.
Yeah. Okay. This guy, his name is... Okay. He goes by Brian Howe, but his projects are Sykes. And then his friend also, Alan, I'm going to slaughter this, Alan Cantorick. He's on Instagram. He has a bunch of POV cooking vids all scored to killer tunes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so let's watch just like a little bit of this Philly cheesesteak video. I followed him on Instagram, and he's like cooking like these amazing things, and he's always doing it to like metal music. This is what Kyle says about him. My buddy Alan is a ridiculously humble chef and ride-or-die metal nerd. When he's not busy being the sous chef at J. Cork's, he runs a pop-up out of his place called Alan's Black Metal Donuts, where donuts are proofed to all the grimmest shit. Proceeds are almost always donated to a charity or black metal bands that come through town.
Wow.
He admittedly is aware of Agalock, but never really listened, which makes me laugh every time we hang out and I talk about I hate music. So
That's awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Jesus.
let's check out this Philly cheesesteak vid for a second. That's not working. It's a link to a... I can't get it to work because it's a link to an Instagram. It's not working. That's all right. Anyway, his stuff's really cool. And thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Amazing. Is he from the Pittsburgh area?
Yeah, I think both of those guys are like from the Pittsburgh area.
Cool.
Totally. So should we move into body count?
Body counts in the house.
Body count. We
have to acknowledge that, we're middle-aged white dudes talking about this, right? But
yes.
Early 90s gangster rap infiltrated the suburbs, right? Basically.
Yes.
I mean, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, they were all, to me at that time, it felt like extreme music. So I was kind of a fan of that stuff. I don't know why, how it's changed now and maybe kind of been watered down and stuff like that. But at the time, it felt like pretty extreme, and Ice-T was a part of that. He was, from his early days of breakdancing and all that shit that he was doing in the 80s. Have you seen him on Breakin'? Like he has a cameo on Breakin' 2, I believe, but he's in the background.
I was
of Breakin'.
obsessed with those movies in the 80s, but I haven't seen them since, I don't think.
He's like doing DJ work and stuff in the movie.
Okay.
And so he was like on the scene early days of breakdancing and stuff. And then he evolved, obviously, into being, an OG, original gangster. Mm-hmm. And on that album, which I think came out in 90 or 91, he had a song on there, Body Count. And this book that I've been reading, or I read a couple months ago now, but it's the 33 and Third book.
Oh, on that record. Okay.
Yeah. So I got it on the record. And he talked about that track on OG. And wanting to help his friend Ernie, who was a guitar player, and they'd gone to Crenshaw High School together or whatever. So he just knew Ernie had all these riffs and wanted to explore having a career in music. So Ice decided to help him out, and that's how that first track, "Body Counts in the House," became became a thing on OG.
Okay.
So that was like 1990 or 91. Yeah. And then I feel like I'm just going like through chronological.
Yeah, but it gives us like a history of like what's going on. Yeah.
And then 91, Perry Farrell started the Lollapalooza thing, and he like, you know, he wanted to show that he was kind of street or whatever, so he asked Ice-T to play.
Gotcha.
And he said, Ice was like, well, how long do I have? And the guy's like, Perry's like, well, you'll have 30 minutes to play. And he's like, you know what? These are fucking rock kids, so I'm gonna like bring my band out or whatever. He asked Ernie and got a few of his other friends from Crenshaw High to play, and they did 15 minutes of Ice-T set, and then they did 15 minutes of Body Count.
Wow.
And
okay.
This shit fucking blew the kids' minds, dude, because they were dangerous, dude. They was like, you know, these are all white kids playing, like watching fucking Jane's Addiction and shit, you know? So
right.
like, oh, what's this going to be? So they had these guys in the back with shotguns in their hand. They're like friends
I've
of
seen
Ice-T.
those photos, yeah.
Yeah, friends of Ice-T would be back there with their shotguns, sunglasses on. Fucking, you know, all the gangsters were wearing like Los Angeles Kings hats or something like that, you know? So it was really interesting just to see like how the kids reacted at that time. And he talked about a lot about it in the book, about how they were just, it was just like this punk energy, you know what I mean? It was like this energy of danger, and like some fucking Ice would jump out on the stage when Body Count played. He would go nuts, dude. He would jump out on the stage. He'd join the pit. He would like carry the mic out there with the cord. It would get fucking wrapped around people. It was just like, he was going nuts. And the whole you know, whether or not they took from the thrash scene or whatever, but they were incorporating a lot of that stage antics, you know?
Right.
And they just blew a lot of people's minds. And then they realized like, oh, this is something that's catching on, all right?
Right,
so let's do an album where we just shock the shit out of everybody. Let's call it Cop Killer, you know?
Right.
And
Because that was the original title, was Cop Killer.
That was the original title, was Cop Killer. And obviously, like they got signed like after Lollapalooza, so they were signed before an album was even done. It's like this,
right.
There was this groundswell of attraction because of these Lollapalooza shows, and so you know, Ice-T wanted to write about cops, you know, and the brutality that he had seen, and you know, growing up in the streets and all these things. And so he wanted to name his album Cop Killer. And of course, Warner Brothers, whoever signed him, was like... And the actual cover was going to be what you see also in the inlay, which is like a black guy pointing a gun straight at your face.
Yeah, I read an interview with Ice-T when he was talking about that.
Yeah, so that was going to be the cover, and that ended up being in the inside of the CD or tape or whatever. And the cover ended up being just as fucking brutal. It has this gangster guy with a gun in his pocket and a chain around his wrist, and it has Cop Killer tattoo. He has Cop Killer tattooed on his chest.
Right.
So they didn't call it Cop Killer. Ended up changing the name just to Body Count, but came out in March of '92.
Okay.
And before this, during the Lollapalooza days, they were getting tons of press. Henry Rollins was talking about you know, obviously the Jane's guys were talking about and it was just like this like onslaught of danger rock that was like about to hit the world. And they knew it was going to be extreme. They knew it was going to create controversy, and that's what he was hoping for, right? That's what he wanted to do. He saw like what happened to Twisted Sister in the 80s. He talks about this too, you know, like, yeah, you know, the guys on the street, they wanted to hear Twisted Sister more because it was causing kids to be, you know, fuck ups or murder people or whatever, you know, like the Judas Priest stuff. Like these are things that made him seek out hard rock because they were in the media like this. So he's like, oh, I'm going to create something like this too. Yeah. I love the idea of how conscious it was, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And it was such a movement. It started such a movement. Like, I was reading through the wiki yesterday, and, you know, like I said, admittedly, this wasn't really on my radar, aside from just knowing about it. Yeah. I mean, I think if you were alive at that time, you knew about Cop Killer, you know?
Sure.
Even if you weren't into extreme music or anything, like I think you're aware of that song.
Well, we'll get into that more. The vice president mentioned it like in a press conference. And
That's
shit,
right.
You know? Like there was like this huge uproar.
Yep. Yeah, and I think musically it kind of paved the way for a bunch of bands, like the popularity of like Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that
Oh, yeah,
informed
for sure.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of similarities there, really, except for like maybe like really being like politically conscious. Having, I mean, Zach De La Rocha has like a little bit of like, you know, hip hop going there too. But they're not too similar, really. But I think that the popularity of this record and this band, you know, helped pave the way for bands like that. And then I feel like in the mid '90s, there was a lot of bands that were really kind of doing that whole like rap metal thing. And I'm not talking like Faith No More epic rap metal.
No.
I'm talking more like the Rage Against the Machine type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that I think that could be directly related to Body Count. Same with the Judgment Night soundtrack, which we talked about multiple times. But
yeah.
You know, I think like, you know, whether or not they were hoping for record sales, the record company saw that this was something that the kids were like, you know, gravitating towards or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe that was like a logical step for metal and rock music at the time, was to kind of be a hybrid mix of things. Because
Well, I think it was, and I think it'd been tried previously. You know, I mean, Anthrax, I'm the Man.
That's true. Yeah,
but
Run DMC.
Run DMC with Aerosmith. But I think those were much more lighthearted.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It was a fun thing. Yeah,
Yeah, where
exactly.
this is like, you know, things like, I keep going back to Rage because it's just my point of reference, but like
Yeah, sure.
Rage and Body Count, like they're talking about, you know, real world fucked up shit. They're not talking about like, you know, I'm in detention. And
Yeah,
exactly. I think the world was much more ready for the Rages and the Body Counts than they were for Aerosmith and Run DMC.
Yeah, I agree. That Slayer Ice-T track on Judgment Night, Disorder, dude,
Yeah.
so good. And like they changed the lyrics. It was like it was a exploited song or something. They changed the lyrics from UK 82 to LA, excuse me, to LA 92. You know, and
Right,
made
yeah.
it a reference to like the riots that were going on there.
Rodney King and stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
So there's this quote in the book, and Ice-T says this: "When you would watch James Brown, you were in James Brown's fucking world the whole time. Slayer took you to hell, and you were in it until they ended that last note. With us, I wanted to have multiple zones that we were just as good. So you got the fun zone, which, yeah, you listen to that first album, there's like fun songs.
Yeah.
Mama's Gonna Die Tonight, KKK Bitch, shit like that.
Yep.
And then you got the punk zone, which, yeah, they do that as well. And you got the political zone, and then you got the gangster zone, you know, with Cop Killer and shit like that. So it's interesting that he was consciously trying to just like fulfill these roles of societal, like, you know, musical impact and societal impacts. It was really cool.
Right.
Yeah. So the impact of that album became a criticism of police brutality, and so
Definitely.
Suburbia fucking rose, dude. When when Cop Killer came out, it became a huge controversy, and these, especially in like places in the South, dude, in Texas, there were these police unions that got together and made a like a huge statement. It was like all these police unions from around the state made a statement saying, "We condoning this song. We want Warner Brothers to take it off the record. It's, you know, it's hurting." It's hurting our relationship with the police and what the youth think of the police and all these things. So it became a thing, you know. And because of that, they ended up having to take it off. And Jello Biafra did this. The reissue was Jello Biafra doing a freedom of speech track.
Okay.
Basically talking about how we are entitled to say what we want, and these are truths to some people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they had to, because of all this controversy, they had to take it off the album. But the actual song, Cop Killer, is not on Spotify or anything like that. I believe it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even realize that.
The Jello Biafra Freedom of Speech is the one that's been replaced by it now. And it's kind of hard to find. It's a collector's item, you know, finding the cassette or the CD that has the Cop Killer on it.
Yeah. Do you have it?
Yeah, of course, bro. Of course. I get rid of that fucking other one, that reissue one. That's bullshit, you know? I really kind of pisses me off that they had to do that, you know?
Yeah.
And there was a speech given by Dan Quayle There were death threats from these police boards against Warner Brothers, dude. There were protests outside the record company. You have to change this. And eventually, Dan Quayle spoke up about it in some press conference, or somebody asked him a question about it, and they eventually had to pull that track. It's really interesting.
That's crazy.
Yep. But what I liked about it was this like kind of a mixture, like he said, it was a mixture of humor, and they had the skits in there. There's like skits like rap music did, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's really typical in a lot of like hip hop albums. So
yeah, exactly.
It
that
makes
was a
sense
thing in the
to be there.
90s.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that much anymore, but it certainly was a trend, you know?
I feel like I'm not a hip hop expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I love a lot of like West Coast hip hop from the 90s, but I like a lot of modern hip hop like Kendrick and stuff like that. And I feel like I don't really hear those like skits like they used to do, but I hear like more like an intro, like somebody will be like saying something and there'll be like an exchange or something, or it'll be like in the middle of a song. But it seems like that whole like art of like having those skits is pretty much gone.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It was a little trend. It was like putting that bonus track, 66 tracks at the end.
Right, yeah. It's just so
kids will never understand what that means.
It'd be cool to delve into like how that started, like why that started, like all the...
I guess it was like, the skit part. I don't know.
Part.
Yeah, I think it was like Slick Rick or something. You know, he did a lot of that stuff in the 80s. Maybe it was from that. But the bonus tracks at the end, that's like messing with technology because they could do it with CDs, I guess.
Yes.
Something like that. But
yeah. Uh-huh.
Ice talks about the Black American experience, and he sets that to a metal soundtrack. And it's an interesting quote he says in here. We wanted a group that has the attack of Slayer, the impending doom of Sabbath, the drive of Motorhead, and groove-oriented to come up with what I call consumable hardcore music. A record that once you hear it, you can sing it, like Anthrax does, that power hook. I like being in a show and having the crowd involved.
Yeah.
Fucking Ice, you know, he gets like what kids wanted at that time, which was and Pantera did this shit too. Highly active, just like, I mean, all these death metal bands did too. You see these live shows of Malevolent Creation or some shit, they were fucking nuts, dude.
Oh yeah.
They would go crazy, and I miss that energy. You don't really see it. You have to be a young band to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, I think that's like, well, like we're talking about stabbing at MDF. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
These young grind bands are like a Squala grind where they're like doing like these like splits in the air and jumping around, and you know, it's a young person's game, and I think
it is.
That, you know, it's hard to pull off.
I'm not listening to a lot of like newer, younger bands, so I don't see that shit live anymore. I kind of crave that wanting to see something like that, jumping off the fucking stacks, whatever it is, dude.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I mean, in the 90s, I feel like that was big because the bands were young, but also it really feels like that's just not what people do anymore for some reason. I mean, I still see bands like go crazy, but I don't see like Eddie Vedder like climbing in the rafters above a crowd.
He's old now, but an equivalent of a 22-year-old.
Yeah,
maybe they would. I don't know. We're not really I'm not listening to bands that are like high energy, and are young. I think, you know, when Suicidal played at the Roseland, he invited the whole crowd up there. And, you know, the kids had to jump barriers. There was a barrier in between the stage, and they had to jump that and then jump onto the stage. No old people could have done that. So it was full of kids and shit, which was really awesome. The energy was really great. But I was like, that harkens back to the old days a little bit, you know?
Yeah. I mean, why isn't like Obsequia doing that, or like Blood Incantation? They should be like losing their shit.
Yeah.
Or Max Phelps. He's a kid.
No kidding. Get out there in the pit, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what happened in 92 was Rodney King, right?
Right.
So a lot of the uprising around Cop Killer came around because of the riots in LA. Yeah. And I was wondering if my kind of exposure to this album was more because we were down there at the time. I was pretty far away. I was in suburbia, but still, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if maybe that's my exposure, and it was on, you know, Headbangers Ball and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, I think everybody was somewhat aware of it, but I imagine that maybe it had a bigger resonance with you. You know, at the time, I was in high school in Bozeman, Montana. I was a completely different world than that record, those experiences, and that city. Completely different world. So,
yeah, I think that helps. You know, knowing that. I had been to L.A. and I do not where Ice was talking about, obviously, but just like seeing the smoke from the distance, I could see it. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like during the riots and shit.
Yeah. It's quite far, but you can still see it.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, it felt like this album's important because it was kind of like the last time music was a legitimate threat. You know, like to social order, I guess. You know, It's like this was a time where music was powerful, where politicians were worried about their children listening to this shit.
Right. The PMRC.
We're so
and all
exposed
that shit.
now to fucking everything, and nothing is shocking anymore. That maybe at this time, this could have been one of the last times that this happened in the mainstream. You know, I think that's why it's important.
I can't think of any reason to say that you're wrong. I mean, that was like the height of the PMRC. That was pre-internet. That was, I mean, you don't hear about that shit anymore. Like politicians like railing against music. I mean, it's at best you hear politicians talking about like video games or
exactly. At best, hardly that anymore. That was like early 2000s kind of thing.
Yeah, hardly that anymore.
Ice has a really good quote here. It's like, he says, "I don't know what Bush and Quayle and the rest of these guys are so upset about. Don't these politicians realize the country was founded on the kind of revolutionary political thought expressed in my songs? I mean, haven't they ever listened to the national anthem? Anybody knows that the Star Spangled Banner is really just a song about a shootout between us and the police. Have they forgotten that Paul Revere became a Revolutionary War hero for warning everybody the police are coming, the police are coming?"
Wow.
Really good.
So it's funny you brought that up because I was listening to Kamau Bell's podcast today, and he was talking about the Star Spangled Banner and the original version, which I had no idea about, but the original version is actually like pro-slavery.
Oh, wow.
And
Jesus.
it's like really, really fucking brutal.
Okay.
And
damn. They took that verse out, or what the fuck?
Yeah, they took that. And so like the whole part that's land of the free, home of the brave, that's written because brave rhymes with slave and with grave.
Oh my God.
And the original lyrics are something about, I'm trying to Google it to find the original lyrics. But like super, super brutal shit and pretty naughty.
Well, Ice continues in this quote. He says, 4th of July should be called National Fuck the Police Day.
I saw that, yeah.
That's great. That's great. Fucking Ice-T. We need more people outspoken like him, you know? He's great. He's kind of become a cartoon of himself in some ways, but he's playing cops on fucking television.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, like, that's really funny.
Yeah, but man, what a guy. He's still outspoken. I like him for that.
Yeah. I had a couple quotes, too, that I wanted to read.
Okay, do it, yeah. And tell me what the slavery in the song says.
Yeah, I'm looking that up. That it looks like maybe this is going to be hard to find.
Oh, no problem.
Not a big deal.
But yeah, it's. Yeah. I imagine a lot of that shit has been. It was changed at the time because they knew that was a bad thing to say in the national anthem, I guess. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Okay, so yeah, I just wrote down a couple things here that I had found that I thought were cool. Ice-T states that Body Count was intentionally different from his solo hip-hop albums in that an Ice-T album has intelligence, and at times it has ignorance. Sometimes it has anger, sometimes it has questions, but Body Count was intended to reflect straight anger. It was supposed to be the voice of the angry brother without answers. If you took a kid and you put him in jail with a microphone and asked him how he feels, you'd get Body Count. Fuck that, fuck school, fuck the police.
Nice.
You wouldn't get intelligence or compassion, you'd get raw anger.
It's true. That's good. I like that.
And I wrote down one other thing that I thought was cool. Despite Ice-T's attempts to differentiate Body Count from his work in the hip-hop genre, the press focused on the group's rap image. Ice-T felt that politicians had intentionally referred to the song Cop Killer as rap to provoke negative criticism. And then Ice-T says, there is absolutely no way to listen to the song Cop Killer and call it a rap record. It's so far from rap. but politically they know by saying the word rap, they can get a lot of people who think rap, black, ghetto, and don't like it. You say the word rock, people say, oh, but I like Just for Us in the Airplane. I like Fleetwood Mac. That's rock.
Yeah.
They don't want to use the word rock and roll to describe the song.
That's interesting. They talked about that in the book, too. The media pit body count versus living color. Like, oh, these are black guys. Like,
right.
Oh, like, there's some quotes in here. I'll read a couple here. It says, attendees of Lollapalooza inevitably pitted the bands against each other, but perhaps most of all, Living Colour and Body Count. A 1991 Rolling Stone profile showed Ice-T and Living Colour drummer Will Calhoun praising each other's bands. The most striking juxtaposition of sound and vision on the bill is that of Ice-T and Living Colour. Ice hits the stage with his posse, firing a pistol in the air, shouting, "Fuck the police." Living Colour rams its message of cultural celebration and racial responsibility home with avant metal ferocity. Living Colour is black. We are N-word. Ice laughed.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
The fact that an East Coast band and we're very much a West Coast band was an interesting symmetry, especially at that time because the East Coast, West Coast rivalries and hip hop were present. So they tried to do it in rock too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Living Colour versus Body Count. Like Snoop versus Biggie or whatever the fuck, you know?
Yeah,
Tupac
but that's interesting because it is like two sides of the same coin, right? I think that, Living Colour is probably... They're definitely 100% concerned with the same issues that Body Count is, but they're approaching it from a different way. Like Fishbone, like a band like Fishbone. I'm sure that they were just as political, but they were talking about Everyday Sunshine, shit like that.
Yeah. Definitely, Living Colour was talking about issues, but not as in your face as Ice was doing it. Yeah. And Ice, strategically, he felt like he needed to be, and he was the right type of person to do it. Right, he was like somebody that didn't give a fuck what people think, and he just went for it. And he was smart enough to debate these fucking guys too, which is pretty incredible. Like there are plenty of like clips online with Ice-T debating David Letterman or whoever the fuck about like why he's doing this, and he does it in an intellectual way. It's like, I have to do it this way. I'm screaming at you like this is an issue. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
I love that. I admire Ice because of that very much.
I'm going to read one more quote that I found. This one's by Ernie C.
Nice.
It's just short, but I thought this was cool too. Ernie C. stated that a lot of rappers want to be in a rock band, but it has to be done sincerely. You can't just get anybody on guitar and expect it to work. We really loved the music we were doing, and it showed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ernie brought a lot of those. He talks about in the book as well about bringing Sabbath and Zeppelin to the attention of Ice. Like Ice was just all about hip hop at the time or whatever.
Yep.
And he wasn't really exposed to metal or hard rock, and Ernie C. was the guy that brought all that. Looking in the past now, you see that first album, you see kind of the demise of the band, and they actually had an album called Violent Demise. But Ernie C. is not the best guitarist, and there's plenty of mistakes, and I think they look at it as like a fucking punk thing, where like, who gives a shit,
Right.
So that's how I try to think of it, but... he's not the best, and he makes plenty of mistakes, and there's lots of errors in the albums and stuff. And the songwriting after this album, they almost like were spent. Like they didn't have anything left.
Oh, really?
They put out an album called Born Dead. It has a couple tracks on it, and then The Violent Demise had like hardly any tracks on it.
Really?
And then somebody brought him back, similar to like Max Phelps did with Death or whatever. Like somebody was integral in saying, and I think it was Ice. Ice always wanted to have him come back, but they just didn't have, I don't know, the desire or the anger or whatever it was against, about what they were talking about in the past. So he did come back, and they have 3 or 4 albums now in the last 10 years that are actually really good. Yeah, they're really good.
So
they're fun.
Do you know what Ice-T says about the whole juxtaposition between Cop Killer and then him being on Law and Order?
I think he would explain it away as just like he's making money, He doesn't give a shit. He's just like, I got to make a fucking living here.
I mean, I'm sure there's got to be documented that somewhere. It's like somebody's asked him that for sure. I mean, he
gets asked that all the time. Yeah, but he's just like, I got to get paid, bro.
The irony of that is pretty insane. So I found the Star Spangled Banner lyric.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's a Washington Post article here. let's see. It's important to know these things because the Star-Spangled Banner, originally called The Defense of Fort McHenry, has more than one verse. The second half of the third verse ends like this. No refuge could save the hiring and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave.
Damn.
And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow.
And I didn't know this either, but apparently Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner, it's come out in the last few decades about what an awful, awful bigot he was. So,
Damn.
and
When we were in Baltimore, I noticed there was like museums and stuff because they're that he must have been from there. Or he wrote it there or something.
oh, I don't know, maybe.
Wonder what they would say about this. They probably gloss over that part.
Yeah, they probably would. I feel like maybe we should listen to a Body Count song.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, you want to go fun? You want to go punk? You want to go just put on Cop Killer? That's on YouTube, but
I'm going to leave it up to you since you know the record better than I do.
okay. Well, one of the funniest, most fun songs is "Mama's Gotta Die Tonight," and it's basically because it's about his mom being racist towards his white girlfriend.
That's right. Okay.
And she taught him all the wrong things. He realizes as an adult that she was teaching him all this bigotry and racism and shit.
Right.
And now as an adult, he's like, my mom's got to fucking die because she's believing these things.
Right.
It's pretty
Okay.
good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's play it.
All right. Here we are.
No. Mama! All my life I loved this girl so much. All my life I loved her simple touch. She cared for me and put me on this earth. Oh, the pain of just a simple birth. But now I find that she had left me dumb and blind, poison twisted and destroyed my mind. She taught me things that simply were not true. She taught me hate for race, that's why I hate you. There's only one way I can make it right. Mama's gotta die tonight. There's only one way I can make it right. Mama's gotta die tonight. Mama, I always loved my mama. I always loved my mama. I love the way she hold me. I love the way she talked to me. She used to teach me a lot of things. She taught me good things. She taught me bad things. Don't trust white people. Don't trust white people. Don't trust white people. They're no good. They're no good. They're no good. They're no good. They're just gonna rip you off. They're just gonna rip you off. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. I said, why, Mama? She said, I told you don't trust them. They're no good. I said, Mama, I thought we were all the same, Mama. Why, Mama? She said, don't ask me any questions. Don't you challenge your mother, Mama. So one day, I found I fell in love, and I brought my girlfriend home, and I introduced her to my mother, and she smacked me. It was a white girl, and I said, why, Mama? Why, Mama? What did I do wrong, you know? I found out my mother was an evil woman. She hated Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Jamaicans, Indians, Orientals. Mama was no good. I learned to hate my mother, So I got some lighter fluid from the corner store, and I put it around her bed, and I set her on fire. Burn, Mama! Burn, Mama! Burn, Mama! Burn, bitch!
wasn't quite dead. She jumped up from the bed, and I grabbed my Louisville Slugger that she had bought me for my 12th birthday, and I came up behind her and I hit her. I hit her twice. Now she was out. I went into the kitchen and I got the handy carving knife that we only use on special occasions, like bullshit Thanksgiving. And I took her and I laid her old fucked up corpse on the floor, and I cut her in little bitty pieces. Cut off her arms, her feet, her neck, and I put her into little green hefty bags. And I put it into my car, and I said, Mama, we're gonna go on a vacation, a permanent vacation, bitch. I took some of her around the world, to Arizona, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Miami, Oakland. Ha ha ha, yo, you wanna go to Connecticut, bitch? Ohio, Detroit, Texas, LA. Who's laughing now, mama? Who's laughing now, bitch? Who's laughing now? So if you got a mother or a grandmother or a father who wants to carry on the same racist bullshit that's fucked this world up from day one, you can either look him in the face and tell him to suck your dick, or do like Body Count does. All my life I loved this girl so much. All my life I loved her simple touch. She cared for me and put me on this earth. Oh, the pain of just a simple birth. But now I find that she has left me dumb and blind, poison twisted and destroyed my mind. She taught me things that simply were not true. She taught me hate for race, that's why I hate you. There's only one way I can make it right. Mama's gotta die tonight. There's only one way I can make it right. Mama's gotta die tonight.
Nice.
There it is. Mama's gotta die tonight.
So good. I love how like he tells the story of how he's going to kill his mama and what's he going to do with her. And if you have a relative like her, you can do it like Body Count does.
Yep. Get rid of that racist bitch.
Yep.
I want to play something real quick.
Okay.
Because we were talking about the little skits.
Yeah.
And one of the quotes I read from Ice-T when I was looking into this album is how he'd be watching the news, right? And it'd be like, oh, like this black kid was killed here and this black kid was killed there and blah, blah. And like 8 black kids were killed over this last weekend. And now sports.
Yeah, and they'd be like, and then, oh, but there was a cute puppy gathering at the park today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. So this track is called Now Sports.
Yep. So good.
Here we go. It's a long one. Buckle in.
This weekend, 17 youths killed in gang homicides. Now sports.
He did another one, The Real Problem. Play that one as well. It's 11 seconds.
Here we go.
This is a little rant.
The problem isn't the lyrics on the records. It's the fear of the white kids liking a black artist. But the real problem is the fear of the white girl falling in love with the black man.
Love that.
Oop, shit.
And that song goes right into KKK Bitch, I believe.
That's the one I wanted to play.
Yeah, that goes right into KKK Bitch, which is about him falling in love with the Klan member's daughter. It's so good.
The Klan member. That's right. Okay.
The head of the Ku Klux Klan, his daughter. That's ICE's conquest, just to go after her, and just to fuck with this guy.
Yeah,
it's really good.
This one's short, but this has more of like a metal feel to it.
Yeah, totally.
So I wanted to play this one. So let's try this one.
Yep.
KK. Well, it's so funny. The bitch is censored on.
It is, but it says explicit there, so it's not going to censor it. I hope.
No, it's not going to censor it, but like the word is.
Or they cut that out.
That's interesting. Not to totally derail, but this is like somewhat related. But obviously, this stuff makes me think of suicidal for a lot of different reasons.
For sure.
But do you remember fucking You Can't Bring Me Down video when they would censor Fruit Loops on that video on MTV? Do you remember that?
No. Why would they have done that?
I can only imagine it's some kind of copyright
You're like Charlie
thing.
Manson eating Fruit Loops on your front porch.
Yeah, they would bleep Fruit Loops on MTV. I can only imagine it must be like a copyright thing. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
But I was like, wait, he doesn't say fuck there.
Yeah,
he says
exactly.
Fruit Loops. Like,
oh, it has to be.
it's got to be a copyright thing. Okay, here we are. KKK bitch.
Oh yeah, what's up out there? BC's in the house. Right about now, I want to tell you a little love story. You know what I'm saying? This is a body count love story. Check out the lyrics, you know. I'm gonna tell you about what happened when we went down south last year on tour. Out on tour, yo, I've been all around the world. Went to Georgia, met this fine-ass white girl. Blonde hair, blue eyes, big tits and thighs. Kind of girl that would knock out most guys. She got wild in the backstage bathroom. Sucked my dick like a motherfucking vacuum. Said I love you, but my daddy don't play. He's the fucking Grand Wizard of the KKK. Love my KKK bitch, love it when you suck me though. Love my KKK bitch, love it when you fuck me though. Love my KKK bitch, love it when I treat her bad. Love my KKK bitch, motherfucker, dear old dad. You know what I'm saying? So we was down south falling in love, you know. D-Rock had this Nazi girl, my man Moose Man had this skinhead. I fell in love with Tipper Gore's 2 12-year-old nieces. It was wild, you know what I'm saying? But it got even worse, you know? So one night they took us to a meeting. White sheets, white hoods, no room for seating. There were skinheads, Nazis, and crazies talking about black people pushing up daisies. They had the blacks, Jews, Puerto Ricans, Mexican, Chinese, even the Indians. We had a hoods on, we was slick. She pushed her butt up hard against my dick. Then her daddy jumped on the stage, talking about killing in a goddamn rage. I got mad, my dick got hard. Damn it in her ass shit, oh my God. Love my KKK bitch, love it when she fuck me though. Love my KKK bitch, I love it when she suck me though. Love my KKK bitch, she love it when I treat her bad. Love my KKK bitch, motherfucker, dear old dad. So what we really trying to say is body count loves everybody. We love Mexican girls, black girls, Oriental girls. It really don't matter. If you from Mars and you got a pussy, we will fuck you. You know, that's all we saying. Word. So every year when body count comes around, we throw orgy in every little southern town. KKK, skinhead, and Nazi girl breaking necks to get to the party. It ain't like they men can't nut. Their dicks too little and they just can't fuck. So we get buck wild with the white freaks. We show them how to really work the white sheep. I know a daddy will really be after me when his grandson's named Lil Ice-T. Love my KKK bitch, love it when she fuck me though. Love my KKK bitch, she loves it when she suck me though. Love my KKK bitch, she loves it when I treat her bad. Love my KKK bitch, motherfuck her dear old dad.
There we go. KKK
Awesome.
bitch.
KKK bitch.
Yeah. Well, cool. Body count in the house.
Yep. Thanks for letting me have an episode about Body Count, first album.
Yeah, you've been mentioning it for a while now.
Well, I read that book, 33 and a Third, about it, and I just got really excited about talking about it. And I probably would have been more eloquent, like, right after I read the book, but,
Right.
you know. But
It's
it's
all
okay. I made notes.
Yeah. Just like that Psych song that we just listened to. He said, I made notes or something like that. That was the chorus of that song.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
yeah.
subconsciously got into
I think
my
it
head
was,
there.
yeah. He was fucking with you subliminally.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, let's do a fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill. What would you fuck? What would you marry? What would you kill?
I got one.
Okay, you got one for me?
Yeah, I got one for you. You ready for this?
Oh, okay, ready.
Okay. This might be controversial between you and I.
Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill. Iced tea, Ice Cube, Vanilla Ice.
Kill vanilla, easy.
Yeah.
So fuck implies one night stand. Marry iced tea. Fuck Ice Cube. Not literally. I mean, not. I love Ice Cube, but not as much as Ice T. Ice T. All of his albums are great, dude. I mean, Power. Let's see. I have a few over here on cassette. I've got Power. I've got Home Invasion and The Iceberg and OG, of course, dude. All of those are amazing albums. He's a very smart, funny motherfucker, and I like him a lot.
But killing Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, well, that's easy to do, right?
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah,
okay,
well, I'm the opposite.
Oh, yeah, tell me.
Marry Cube, fuck T, kill Vanilla.
No problem. I have no problem with that.
Yep. I'm a NWA guy.
I've got one for you. It's Lollapalooza 1992. These are 3 acts that played on that tour. On that tour. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ministry, and Soundgarden.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking 92.
Yep. These are 1992.
Okay.
Don't think of them how they are now, but at that time.
At the time.
Like if you were going to that show, what would you have wanted to see the most, you know?
It's actually pretty easy for me. I've never really cared about Ministry, so that's a kill for me.
Dude, what was that album? Psalm 69 or something? Or New Order? Oh.
No, Psalm 69 has like...
Psalm 69. Great. Dude,
Jesus Built My Hot Rod on it and stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I just never really got into them for whatever reason.
They had changed a lot, right? Their 80s stuff is very...
very synth wave.
Synthy, new wave stuff.
Yeah. They just never really did it for me, so kill them.
Okay.
Soundgarden and Chili Peppers at that time, I adore both of them. However, it would definitely be a marry Soundgarden, fuck Chili Peppers.
Nice.
In 92.
Yep, this is in 92.
Yep, because 92 would have been Blood Sugar and...
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Blood Sugar Sex Magic and...
That was so overplayed, though, bro. Jesus.
Yeah, but it's a fucking great record. It's a great record. I just bought a Chili Peppers record a couple days ago.
Oh, damn.
I got Freaky Styly. Yeah.
That's early stuff.
Yeah. Second record, I believe. Yeah. 80s. Nice.
Yeah. So go ahead.
What would you do? What's your pick?
I would kill Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know,
man. Their first few records, though, dude.
Dude, I respect Flea, and I think that they are good songwriters, but damn.
Their first few records are fantastic. But they took a bigger dive than Metallica did, even. Like I can't think of another band.
That's hard to do. That's really hard to
I can't think of another band that I think that was so stellar that got so bad.
That's an interesting question. Yeah.
That would be a good episode, but like
that would be.
Pepper's top of my list. Like Blood Sugar, previous, like fucking great records. I love those records, but anything after, just absolute drivel.
What about that album that Morbid Angel put out when Dave Vincent came back? Illudium or whatever the fuck it was called.
God, it's bad.
That was bad, dude.
It's bad. Yeah.
So I would kill RHCP. I would marry Soundgarden and fuck Ministry. I think that would be... I'm not a huge Soundgarden fan either. I know amongst our record crew, you guys talk about them a lot, but I'm learning to appreciate the early stuff quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm a Louder Than Love guy and previous. I like some of the stuff that's newer than that, but yeah, Soundgarden were very big for me back in the day.
Let me name some other bands that played here. Okay, Jane's Addiction, Susie and the Banshees, Living Colour, Nine Inch Nails, Ice-T and Body Count, Butthole Surfers, Rollins Band, Fishbone.
Damn, that's great.
Fucking incredible.
That is, and it's so varied. I would love to see Jane's Addiction. That would be fucking killer.
This, I mean, as high schoolers, this festival, I don't know if it came near you even.
No, not even close.
It was all the rage, dude. It was... No problem. It was, they played some, let's see, I'm looking at the dates here. They played like 4 times in Southern California. That's why I was exposed to it quite a bit. Nearest to you was probably St. Paul, Minnesota. I mean, yeah, they didn't really come very close to you at all.
It'd either be St. Paul, Seattle, Portland, or Salt Lake. Those are the cities that were around Montana.
They didn't even come to the Northwest
Oh, wow.
at all.
That's surprising.
They played. No, they did in Enumclaw, Washington, King
okay.
County Fairgrounds. So that must be up there somewhere near
Yeah.
Seattle. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely on my radar, obviously, but it was like, oh, yeah, like I knew people that, drove for a day to go see it, stuff like
exactly.
that, but it was
Nice.
definitely wasn't something that I could do.
Yeah, I didn't go either. I don't know. I don't think I was into a lot of that alternative stuff.
Ramones
did-
played one year.
Oh, they did? 92. I'm looking at 92 here. No, I don't think
They were
played
like
that one.
mid-90s, like 95, maybe.
Nice. Yeah, the festival went on for a while. 94, Green Day, 96. Yeah. Amazing.
I went to an
96
Ozfest.
and 96 fucking Metallica and Ramones played, yeah.
Oh, damn, Metallica and Ramones.
Yeah.
So that would be, is that Load or is that Black Album?
No, that must have been like Load era, yeah.
Probably. Oof.
That's why. It's like they were playing these fucking alternative festivals,
Right, maybe
Shit
that's why
pissed
they
me off.
cut their hair. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
Because
went
they
to,
thought they were cool with the alternative kids. That's exactly what happened.
yeah. I never went to one of those, but I went to Ozfest once.
Oh, you did? Nice. Yeah.
Late
American
90s.
festivals, dude. We talked about this a little bit. They just couldn't
Yeah.
pull it off very
No.
well. But
Yeah, they're doing
remember
much
Woodstock
better.
99?
Oh, God, yeah. I saw some footage of that shit, like Limp Bizkit or somebody, and like
Just
porta
fucking burning the
potties
place
on
down. Yeah.
fire. Yeah,
Piss and shit everywhere.
it's ridiculous.
How was the Ozfest one?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really anybody I wanted to see. It was, well, it's
Well,
not entirely
Ozzy.
true. It was Sabbath with Ozzy,
Nice.
but I think it was a doubleheader if I remember right. It was Ozzy and Sabbath, and that's the only reason I went to see those guys.
Dude, I saw Pantera and Morbid Angel open up for fucking Sabbath. That was insane. That's insane.
I saw Motorhead and who was it? Yeah, Motorhead and Morbid Angel open for Sabbath. I
Isn't that
think.
crazy?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder why I saw Pantera. That's weird. Maybe they switched at some point.
They must have switched. It must have been that same year. It was Covenant era.
Yeah, well, no.
Mine was
I
Covenant.
think it was Domination. Dude.
Mine was Covenant for sure.
I don't think so.
Mine was.
When they got on that tour, that was a big deal, dude.
I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, how do I?
That doesn't matter.
Even
Doesn't
Google
matter.
it. Doesn't matter. But I'm pretty sure it was Covenant.
Okay,
But
that's fair. That's fair.
but
Because
yeah.
that was our first major label kind of thing. Or was Domination the first? No, Covenant.
No,
was.
Covenant was because of the whole
Yeah.
giant thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, back then, those are the only festivals I went to. It wasn't like much of a thing. And now it's like, especially with metal, it's just like all over the place. Lilith Fair was another thing.
Yeah, that was a thing.
I never went to that, but I loved Sarah McLachlan and Tori Amos back in the day. But I never went to one of those.
Nope. They did a few miscellaneous festivals. I saw Neil Young and like Smashing Pumpkins or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Cool. We'll wrap up the body count, get out the body bag, sip on some iced tea.
Put on some Mama's Gotta Die Tonight and think about how you're going to kill your mom.
That's right.
Hope, especially if she's a racist bitch.
Especially if she's a racist bitch. Yeah, well, thanks again, guys, for listening.
Yep, that was fun.
As always, rate us 5 stars, subscribe, do all that shit. So this is something it's kind of like a no-brainer, but I just found out recently is when somebody actually does rate you or subscribe, it actually helps get you into the algorithm so more people can listen, especially with the ratings. So, yeah,
cool.
that would be nice.
Yeah.
Just leave us a review or subscribe or give us 5 stars. It would be nice. As far as like shows coming up, I'm playing at Lunasa Cascadia end of July as Moonbladder. Got a bunch of shit coming up after that I can't talk about yet. Agalock in Australia.
Yeah.
In September, Agalock at headlining Fortress Fest next year in England.
Go into that, bro.
Other headliner was named, and that is, I believe you pronounce it Room, and it is Blasphemer from Mayhem. It's his new project. So we're going to be co-headlining with them, I guess.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, that's what I have coming up. What about you, Nick Wusz? What do you have coming up?
Things are good. We're seeing Death to All tonight.
Yep.
Doing some traveling here and there. Show-wise, I'm going to do some live Traveler's Rest.
Yes,
so
you are.
Anybody in Portland area, be ready to see me fuck up live.
Perfect.
I fuck up on this podcast, and I'm probably going to fuck that up too. No, I'm going to try my best to get my keyboard out there and do a good job. I'm excited for that. Nervous, obviously, but yeah. Summer is looking here, like it's here.
Yep, it is for sure. Well, cool. Thanks, everybody. Nick,
and I got my KNAC shirt on today.
Oh, yeah, T-shirt of the day, KNAC.
Because that was the radio station in Southern California, and I heard Body Count on this multiple times.
Nice. I'm wearing my Disharmonic Orchestra T-shirt that I made for those guys, the first Earth and Sound T-shirt.
Nice.
But, yeah, Death to All tonight. Nick, I'll see you in a few hours.
That's right.
At Brewhouse.
Sounds good.
And we'll see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
An Earth in Sound production.